So Jake Paul has done it again. He beats Anderson Silva in their boxing match by a very competitive decision, in my opinion. I don't agree with some of the scorecards, but I do agree with the result of the fight. Jake Paul should have been given that win. I reckon it could have been 4-3 either way going into that 8th round. Maybe you could have given it 4-3 to Silva, in which case Jake Paul wins because he knocks down Silva in round 8 when he needed to most. Goes for a combination, finishes it with a beautiful right hand, straight on the chin of Silva, and Silva could only take so many of those massive shots. He took a bunch of shots off Jake Paul in this fight, a bunch of them, and he took them well. Jake Paul was swinging heavy blows on Anderson Silva, and Silva's chin was holding up amazingly. Dude's got a granite chin, for real, and eventually he couldn't take him anymore. Jake Paul put him down in the 8th round, which would have meant he won by a point if Anderson Silva was ahead, but would also have meant that he would have won a little bit clearer if he was ahead 4-3 going into the 8th round. But regardless, he won the fight. I just want to say one thing, though. I'm a Jake Pauler, dude. I think I am. I don't even like him that. I don't think I'd get along with him. You know what I mean? But I respect him. He was a millionaire before he started boxing. I can't beat Anderson Silva, who beat Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. in a boxing match with 4 years of training. I can't do that. I'm a bigger guy than Anderson Silva by quite a bit. I'd have a massive size advantage over him. So maybe I could catch him. Maybe. But to win a decision against him, with such a lack of experience that Jake Paul has, and for it to go in to get tough in the middle rounds for Jake Paul and it start to look quite bad, and then for him to pull it back later on and get it done when he needed to, I don't think people understand how hard that is to do. He's never been in this position before. There's an entire arena of people, and beyond that, a world of people that want him to lose. Things might not be going his way, and he finds what he needs to in the 8th round to drop Anderson Silva, a guy who beat Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. The word rigged is trending on Twitter in the UK and America. I can't, and this is why I'm a Jake Paul fan. If you're against Jake Paul and what he's doing in boxing, you're kind of an NPC. You're not even a human being at that point. There's no way this fight was rigged. You can be against Jake Paul, sorry, because he is a bit got a brush with that tism. You know what I mean? Maybe a spare chromosome lying around. Who knows? I'm not going to assume anything, but maybe. Maybe you could dislike him personality-wise. But in terms of what he's achieving here, for someone to completely write it off, and that's what everyone's doing, write it off as Silva got robbed. These are the top comments. Silva got robbed. This is disgraceful. Silva's doing nothing. He's a terrible actor. Jake, go ahead and take the fight that you paid for. Jake doesn't accept fights unless his opponent agrees to throw the fight. These people are NPC robots. There's no way Anderson threw that fight. He was going after Jake Paul, trying to finish him. You can't rig liver shots. You can't. And Anderson was tagging him on the liver on many an occasion. He was getting Jake Paul up against the ropes at the end of some of the rounds, landing combinations sort of on the gloves, somewhat around the gloves as well, and then landing left hooks to the liver on the way out. When Jake Paul would circle out, Anderson would throw a left hook to the liver as he circled into it. You can't rig that. Hey, don't go down to this liver shot that I'm swinging with good power on you in round 5 of a boxing match that's getting, and we're both exhausted. You can't rig that. And also, here's the craziest bit. People are saying rigged and that Anderson Silva was robbed. So they're saying the fight was rigged to go that way to Jake Paul and Jake Paul to win. But Anderson should have won though. So they rigged the fight. Anderson paid for. They paid Anderson Silva to go. Let me get this straight, you robot people. Oh my, KSI got more credit for beating Swarms than Jake Paul's gotten for beating Anderson Silva. And that's crazy to me. I actually rate him so much. He's actually got these robot people, NPC switched off humans, semi-conscious brained humans, eating at the palm of his hand. I don't think I'd get along with him as a person. I rate that so much though. His existence is annoying so many people. You're telling me all over the Instagram comment people that are everywhere talking about this is rigged, Anderson was paid to lose, that Anderson was paid to win a boxing match against Jake Paul and then lose the decision. Anderson was paid for that to happen. Crazy to me. And MMA fans, I'm holding you accountable here. And Skinny Betts, Jake Paul's white and Skinny Betts is backing him up. Skinny Betts. Jake Paul's white. Blonde white. Skinny Betts is backing him up. If they don't tell you that you're wrong, and Skinny Betts says it right, respect to him. Before he fought Silva, everyone was saying he should fight Silva. Now it's, Silva's old, he's almost 50. Just say you hate Jake Paul, give the kid some credit. He's been doing well so far. Respect. Respect. Skinny Betts is right on this, but they didn't even just say he should fight Silva. They said he'd never fight Silva. Silva would destroy him. That was I will tell you this right now. I don't have the screenshots, but you know I'm right on this. Every single comment when the rumors were out there that Jake Paul might fight Anderson Silva was, there's no way he'd fight Anderson Silva. Silva would wreck him. Month later, the fight gets announced. 50-year-old Silva. Obviously, Jake Paul's going to win. I'm not joking. The world flipped their opinion on a dime. When it was rumored to when it was official. There's no way he'd fight. That was every comment. Every comment was there's no way he'd fight Anderson Silva. Silva would humble this guy. Because Silva just beaten Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., a former world champion boxer, who's a couple years out of his prime maybe, but went to a decision with Canelo Alvarez. You know? Caleb Plant didn't go to a decision with Canelo Alvarez. So whatever you want to say, people were all on board for the fact that Silva was going to beat Jake Paul. The fight got made, and everyone started saying, easy work for Jake Paul. Another 50-year-old, not even fighting a pro boxer. Anderson's a 3-1 boxer who beat a former world champion who has a record of, and I'm just going to check it right now. Anderson Silva is better than, in boxing, Anderson Silva is better than a boxer who just bounced back and won after losing to Anderson Silva, by the way, is better than a boxer who at the time had a 52-5 record. Former world champion, was 35, 34 years of age. That's not far out of your prime. Maybe his motivation wasn't all there. I get that. But a guy who was 52-5, former world champion, went to a decision with Canelo just 4 years before that fight happened. And Anderson beat that guy, and Jake Paul's just beaten Anderson Silva. Respect to Jake Paul. I could never do that. I'm a bigger guy than Anderson. Maybe I could land a KO blow, but to go to a decision, and when things get tough, and things did get tough. Let's talk about how I scored it round by round here. Round 1, clear Jake Paul. Silva cracked him with a big left hand that Jake Paul didn't see coming. Could have KO'd Jake Paul. Could have done. Jake Paul took it well. Landed to the body. Landed to the head a couple of times around the guard of Silva with some left hooks. The body shots were mainly the thing that won him that first round. And round 2, who's clearly was down 2 rounds. Dude, people are so stupid. I actually hate them. I actually hate everyone that's against this. This is Jake Paul is Moses. He actually is a modern day Moses, where he stands. We are like the Dead Sea or whatever the sea was that Moses crossed. He parts the river. He walks down there after his boxing match. NPCs, conscious human beings that can actually accept that he's winning a fight. People thought Woodley won the first fight. People were actually in the comments after the Woodley first fight saying Woodley got robbed of a decision. People said, no matter what the scorecards were, Woodley should have won because he almost put Jake Paul through the ropes. Jake Paul actually dropped Silva. Where are these people? They're nowhere. It's crazy. I love it. I love it. I don't even know if I get along with him. I probably wouldn't. He seems a bit weird. But, man, I got to give him respect. That's a clean win. A tough fight for him as well. He was getting clipped with uppercuts through the guard, snapping his head up. He didn't even see him coming. Left hooks from Anderson around the guard as well. liver shots, body shots against the ropes at the end of the rounds that Anderson was trying to pour onto him. Looked like he was gassing in the 5th. Came back with a second wind and gritted down in round 8 when he needed to and found the knockdown. Massive respect. Massive respect for Jake Paul. Honestly. And listen, he's not that great as a boxer. He's not going to beat a world... If you put him in there against Bertabiev, he's going to get ransacked in round 1. Bivol will school this man and finish him whenever he so pleases. He's a 6-0 boxer now. For a guy with 5 boxing fights, to beat Anderson Silva, who beat Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., is just impressive. Round 1 goes to Jake Paul. Round 2 is clear Anderson Silva, in my opinion. Round 3 is a swing round. Very important. Round 3 is a swing round, in my opinion. I think that's very obvious. A swing round in round 3. And the problem is, Silva might have done a bit more work. Jake Paul landed a bit cleaner. Silva did more. But Jake Paul actually broke Anderson Silva's nose in round 3. That's a fact. He did break Anderson's nose. Anderson's nose was skewered. It was bleeding. It was off of a left hand that Jake Paul landed on him. So damage-wise, Jake Paul could have won round 3, but it could also go to Silva. Swing round. Round 4 was close, but Jake Paul won round 4. One thing that these stupid NPCs that are watching boxing for the first time need to understand is boxing... They're so purist of their own sport. They heavily value, when it comes to scoring in their sport, cleanliness. Who's doing clean, good boxing work? If both guys land an equal amount of jabs in a round, whoever's jab is better, they'll give the round to that guy. You know what I mean? And Jake Paul was landing the clean work in round 4. So I gave him round 4. Round 5 is another swing round. Jake Paul used to start these rounds strong. Outlanding Anderson, going to the body, landing jabs, landing a couple of shots here and there, landing maybe a combo at the start of the round that was quite good. And then Anderson would come back at the end of the round with about 40 seconds to go and pour it on Jake Paul. Some of them land, some of them don't. Some of them partially land off the glove. A couple body shots landed. Shots landed through the guard. Burping all over the place. Uppercuts landed through the guard as well. For Anderson Silva on Jake Paul, popping his head back, snapping his head over. He didn't see him coming. They were clean shots. And round 7, or round 6, round 7. Round 6 was another swing round again. Could have gone either way. Anderson maybe could have won it. Round 5 was a swing round. It was just like Jake was starting good for the first 2 minutes, and then Anderson would finish good. But you didn't know what was landing clean from Anderson. He would run in, get close, rip a bunch of shots, but for the judges, they can see that Jake Paul's landing a couple of jabs at range. They can see that Jake Paul's landing a couple of overhands at range and a couple of body shots in combination. When Anderson crowded his work and went after Jake Paul, the judges have to be like, well, I saw that one land clean, but that could have been on the arms. That could have been on the gloves. So Anderson was not doing his clean work to win himself some of those swing rounds. Round 7, I thought was Jake Paul. Very close again. Anderson finished strong, but this time at the end of round 7, Jake was swinging back, so that's why I gave him round 7. He was winning it early. He landed some big shots. Anderson started doing his work to the body and the head and uppercuts and stuff like that. But Jake Paul started swinging back and catching him in the middle of the inside fighting, which I thought gave Jake Paul that round because he didn't get cleanly beaten at the end of it. And then round 8, Jake Paul lands a knockdown, so he gets a 10-8 round, and they both scrap it out at the end. Respect to both of them. But I had it 4-3. Even I could have had it 4-3 Silva. I could have had round 1 Jake. Let's do this on my hand. Round 1 Jake. Round 2 Silva. Round 3. Let's go Silva. I don't know what hands I've counted on. This is Silva now. 2-1 Silva. Round 4 Jake. Round 5. Let's go round 5. Silva. Round 6 Jake. Round 7, I thought Jake won it, but it could have gone Silva's way. Let's give Silva round 7. Jake gets a 10-8. 5-4 Jake. You know what I mean? That's my mind of scoring that fight. So, you know, It was close. There was a bunch of swing rounds. Silva won rounds 2 and 6, clearly. Maybe. But Jake won rounds 1, 4, and 7. I think quite clear. But I'll even give Silva round 7. I thought Jake could have got it, though. Very good stuff. I think Wade Concept had the same scoring as me. 4-3 Jake going into the last. Maybe 4-3 Silva. Who knows? But that 10-8 secured it, and he gritted down and got it done. I thought he was going to gas, but he gritted down, landed when he needed to, put Anderson Silva down, called out Nate Diaz. I'll make a prediction video for that tomorrow. I reckon he beats Nate Diaz. And I think as well about this KSI thing. Dude, forget KSI. He's fighting Swarms and Pineda. Like, they're paid to lose rigged fights. The fact that rigged... Look at that fight with Anderson Silva, Jake Paul. Silva's ripping him with liver shots. Jake's gassing and Silva's manipulating guard, uppercut, left hook, uppercut, liver shot on Jake Paul as he's like covering up against the ropes. Think about that. Rigged is trending after that fight. Look at the Swarm's performance against KSI. Look at Pineda, the pro boxer, and how he fought KSI. Was rigged trending? Pineda literally did take dives. He genuinely, officially took dives in that fight and tried to find his way out of that fight. Kept going to the ground for no reason, complaining about this, going, oh, God, it hurts. That genuinely looked like a rigged fight, and that wasn't trending. Dude, respect to Jake Paul. Hopefully he doesn't kill himself, though, because... you got to have a tough mind, dude. If you're accomplishing so much, and then the first thing you see is... rigged is trending on Twitter. I just beat Anderson Silva after 4 years of training. Like, it would mentally kind of break you a bit. So, respect for him for toughing it out. And great performance. I thought it was a fun fight. Most boxing fights aren't that fun. I like the low-level ones. Sometimes you get these high-level boxing fights. It's good to watch if you're a massive fan of boxing. I get that. But it's not crazy. There's no fun, crazy moments, really. When you get these slightly lower-level ones... you get like a little bit of good boxing here and there, but you also get like a scrap. And that's something that I think boxing is missing. And if Jake Paul keeps having fights like that last one against Silva, which was way more impressive than any of his other fights, then I'll watch him all the time. So respect to Jake. Good win. Fight Nate Diaz next. And if he wins that one, I don't know what to do for him. I don't know what he's going to do. But I think he's going to try and get to 10-0 and try and convince Canelo that he's a big enough draw to fight him. So, we'll see. He's good. Jake Paul's a good boxer. Respect. I could not beat Silva after 4 years. And Silva had a good chin. Jake was cracking him and Silva took it well. Took it well. And also, people saying Silva was holding back his punches. One more thing. Jesus. Never watched Silva fight. Silva's not a guy who swings like that. He picks his shots. He's very systematic. He picks shots, medium power shots, digs them in, lands shots around the guard, manipulates the guard, lands to the body. Anderson Silva's not swinging overhands. That just doesn't happen with Anderson. So people saying, oh, you look like he was holding back his shots. It just is exposing to me how little people know about boxing. Rigged. He was throwing liver shots, perfect liver shots on Jake Paul. He's holding back his shots. It's Anderson Silva. He's not a fast twitch, muscle fiber guy who's swinging like Deontay Wilder out there. Like, what are these people expecting? Jake Paul won. Good for him. And I like it because he's taking competitive fights and it makes for more fun. Other boxers that are at this point in their career are fighting bin men that are 2-17 in boxing that are literally paid to lose. And they get no shame. And they get no trash for that at all. You know what I mean? So I respect it. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching Toodle Pip. I'm a Jake Pauler, I guess. See you later.